Hey everybody, well, welcome aboard to Webclass Wednesday. I think I'm going to start calling you all Webclass Warriors. Welcome to the live, and welcome if you're watching the replay, welcome to the replay. We have a room full of inspiring people tonight again, authors and creators, and I have a guest on with me tonight, Pazit Perez, who some of you know, some of you may not know. She is a personal reality branding expert, which I so love to say about Pazit, because it's exactly what she does. She's a creatorpreneur, and she's an author, and she's an award-winning vision portrait photographer, and she created her reality as she wished it and pictured it to be, and she is living it in Florida. So welcome, Pazit.
Thank you.
And tonight, Pazit and I had created a brand last year called Millionaire Mentors. So some of you have come on our 7 a.m. Sunday morning calls. We have a mastermind on Sunday mornings. And Pazit and I mastermind pretty regularly. And one of the things we realized this week was, as we were creating in the present moment, the next offering we wanted to bring to the Millionaire Mentors, which was a Mindset Mastery book study club. Pazit and I, who ended up creating our reality down in Florida last March, Pazit suddenly realized that she had tape recorded a conversation we had at dinner. And she says, I got to go find that recording, because I'm pretty sure everything you're talking about, you already created in your mind. So she went back into her phone and she found and sent me a recording that we made on the 10th of March, 2018, at a table at a restaurant that we had again created a reality around the December before. And on that day, she played a recording to me this week of everything that I wanted to do with the Millionaire Mentors. Now, we hadn't created the Millionaire Mentors yet when we were having this conversation at the restaurant, but we did very shortly thereafter. And what we had discussed was a book study club. Now, some of you who work with Doug Dane and Proctor Gallagher, you know that it's pretty common for successful mindset people to study. And that's not reading books, that's studying the material, learning the knowledge, and then learning how to apply it. So we decided that in addition to our 7 a.m. mastermind, we wanted to create a book study club. So I wanted Pazit to come on because, you know, the mindset mastery is so important to all of us as creators, because we do create our reality. So Pazit and I will talk about the book club afterwards, and I have a list of books that I want to present to let you know what kind of books we will be studying in this book study club. And I want to read you a really important first 2 short chapters of the first one. And it's one that I have carried with me everywhere. As a matter of fact, Pazit remembers me carrying it in Florida, and it goes around with me everywhere. And it's called Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Behrend. It's not a very big book, but it's a super, super powerful, amazing book. Now, Genevieve Behrend was a French author. She was born in 1881. She died in 1960. And she was a teacher of what they then called mental science. And she was taught by Thomas Troward. Now, Thomas Troward was born in 1912, and he taught the theory of thought mastery. And Genevieve Behrend was his only student, and she created the opportunity for herself to study with him. And then she created her books based on his study. She went on afterwards to create the New Thought School, called the School of Builders, in New York City in 1915. So these theories, these principles are not new. They're part of how I live, how I do business, how I integrate it into my business, and how success principles are so powerful for us. And it's how Pazit and I kind of co-create all sorts of stuff together, and so can you, obviously. So we'd like to bring some of these things to you in these calls, so that you understand and can apply them in your life and say, I can do that. This is something I can do.
Right. And also to understand.
creator of your reality, correct?
Yeah, exactly. To understand that you are more powerful than what you see. What you see is limited, and basically it's what you don't see that opens up the possibilities. And definitely, I would say in the last couple of years, ever since my vision work, I really understand the power of creation. I understand how we take something from nothing into something. So even just thinking of anything like, you know, this laptop that we're on, you know, anything, the chair you're sitting on, everything was a thought. Everything came from the invisible. The thought is the invisible, and we bring it into the visible. And so what's very, very important is the study of it to understand like how different people did it. It really comes down to one science. And if you work with it, you realize how powerful you are. You're no longer at the mercy of the circumstances. You actually create your own reality. So, Carolyn and I love, and we eat and we feed our mind this stuff day in and day out. And I can't stop calling Carolyn every day for everything that happens, right?
Yeah.
And Carolyn feels the same. And so there's much more to you than meets the eye. And so we want to open and expand all your minds to it, because we're able to do it. I do it regularly. I almost do it daily now. And we want to teach you how to create anything that you want. Whether it's wealth, relationship, you know, whatever it is to you, you can have it as long as you think. You have to know how to think it into reality.
And thinking it off, and thinking it also involves your emotional set points, right? So
Yeah.
when we talk about, you know, people know of the law of attraction, and the part about the law of attraction that people don't realize is that it's a secondary law to the law of vibration. Well, what is the law of vibration? Well, anything that you desire requires you to be on the same frequency with it. So in order for you to feel your way toward your goal, and for your goal to make its way to you, your work is to focus on how you're feeling, right? And to bring your emotional set point higher. Now, I get asked questions all the time because I wrote about gratitude. I live gratitude, life in the key of G, as I say. That means that I have an emotional set point that I've habitually brought to a level that vibrates with a lot of things that I'm looking to attract into my life. Okay. But what happens if you're not at that emotional set point? Okay. There's a whole list of emotional, the emotional guidance scale, if you will, that starts, you know, with the lower vibrating emotions, and everyone can identify with all of these feelings. And if I read them to you, I'm going to read them to you from the lowest set point to the highest one. And when I read them, try to picture yourself where you're at right now. Where are you feeling in this scale? Because the lowest vibrating emotions are going to bring you the low-lying fruit. They're going to bring into your experience that which is a match with it. So the lower vibrating emotions, fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, we move up with each one. So if I were to say, reach for a better feeling thought today so that you feel a little bit better. I'm going to read these in the order of moving up the scale. So fear, grief, depression, powerlessness is at the bottom of the scale. Then we move up to insecurity, guilt, and unworthiness. We move up to jealousy. We move up to hatred, then to revenge, anger, discouragement, blame, worry, doubt, disappointment, overwhelm, frustration, irritation, and impatience, pessimism, boredom, contentment. That's where the scale tips. Everything above contentment starts to feel light. Okay? So everything down below it, if you feel that you're in any of those places, you don't want to beat yourself up and say, oh, not again. I'm feeling so this. You say, you know what? I could just reach for a better feeling thought. Because if my whole goal is to feel good, then I need to find a way that I can do that without relying on an exterior circumstance to help me do that. I don't want to feel good when I get a raise. I don't want to feel good when I go on vacation or when I have this relationship. It's about me feeling good and figuring out a way to do it on my own. So when you get from that contentment place, if you're kind of sitting in contentment, that's good. You're starting to feel that good vibration, right?
Yeah.
Above that, you've got hopefulness, optimism, positive expectations and beliefs, enthusiasm, eagerness and happiness, passion. And the top ones that I love the most: gratitude, joy, appreciation, empowered, freedom, and love. Number one is love. Love for all, love for self. So if you can take a look at that scale and see where you see yourself in there, and simply say to yourself, okay, I got to feel a little bit better today. Why? Because everything that you want is hinging on how you feel.
Yeah.
It hinges on, right, your emotional frequency. And that's how the law of vibration works. You have to be a match to what you want. And it starts with how you feel. And actually, this is one of the books we're going to do. It's a very short and sweet, to the point, fantastic little book by Neville Goddard called Feeling is the Secret. These books have been around for decades and decades. They're not new. But when you get into reading these books, your mind just takes you to a place where you understand how much power you actually have to create the reality that you want. Pazit, you did a live the other morning that I loved, with the two glasses, the two drinking glasses, right? And you filled one with water and the other one with coffee. And then one was your negative thinking and one was your positive thinking. So you could actually relate now to where they are in the emotional scale. And when you're feeding yourself a constant diet of negative, low vibrating thoughts, it's like taking that coffee, that dark color, and clouding your nice clear water, so that you're just in that fog of really not feeling good. And that's what happens, because when you start feeling not so good, you start attracting things to you that are not so good, because you're in a vibrational match with it. So when you hear yourself saying, oh, not again, like, what's going on? All these things keep going wrong. You have to look at how you're thinking, and you have to reach for better feeling thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, we were conditioned, or we grew up to learn everything backwards. This is why it's so hard for people to believe that this is the true way, because it's contrary to what we were taught. We were taught to look at the outside circumstances, and this is how we feel good or we feel bad. In school, if you get a good grade, you feel good. If you get a bad grade, you fail, you feel bad, you go home, you get punished, study more, right? You don't feel good, right? So we learn to look at our results in our life and determine whether we feel good or not. What nobody taught us is, by doing that, we are actually creating our reality from that. So if we are always feeling bad, we always have bad marks, we don't feel good about ourselves, well, we keep attracting more bad situations into our lives. So this actually works the opposite. We work with the invisible laws, and this is where all the 3%ers are. 97% of the people miss this because we were not taught it. We knew it as children, and then we went through the system, meaning our families' beliefs. Everything that you know today is a transfer. It was a hand-me-down from the family you were born into, to the school that you went to the friends you hanged out with. All these were hand-me-down thoughts. They're not even your own. They were thoughts that somebody taught you. Don't cross the street on a red light. Little things like that. But of course, if there's no cars coming, you could definitely cross the street on a red light, right? So because you were taught it, you don't even do it. It's almost like over here in Florida, you can all make a right, on a red light. But because I'm so used to being in Montreal, I forget. I'm so used to no, you got to stop and wait for the light to turn. So it's just a belief, and now I'm shifting my belief. Now I'm like, that's it. I gotta make a right. It's okay. So this is pretty much how your thoughts work. They're habitual. they're habitual thoughts. That's why you do them. You don't even question them anymore. You do them daily. So what we want to show you is that in order for you to take your power back, you can have any life you want and you can create it, but you have to think it and feel it and bring it into your reality. And in order to do that, you have to become a match to what you want. And this is where your thoughts are going to flip flop, because when you're going, say, from one opposite to another, if you're going from, lack, let's just say financial lack to, prosperity, it's hard for your mind, when your mind sees an empty bank account, or it sees debt, or it sees bills, it's hard for your mind to think, well, I feel prosper. You have to go with the opposite. So basically, we're going to teach you through these books. These are the books that opened our minds. And now it's like, I would never want to live life the other way around, because the other way around, we are a victim to our circumstances. If my relationship is good, I'm happy. If my relationship is not good, I'm not. If I'm single, I'm not happy. If I'm in a if I have money, life is good. If I don't have money, I feel like shit. No. So now we're no longer victim of circumstances. We can choose to even be happy, even in the fact that maybe, our bank account is low. Maybe even if you're single on Valentine's, you can still be happy. You can still be happy with who you are, who you've been. You're in a relationship with you. You can be happy with the relationship you have with yourself. So happiness is a choice. And most of us don't exert it. And so this is why when we read books like this, me and Carolyn are immersed in the study, and we keep expanding our minds every day. And the only way to get good at it is the same way that you learned. How did you learn from your family or your parents or from school? They repeated everything all the time, right? The math tables, right? They would make you repeat it. 1 times 1, 1, 2 times 2, 4, right? They would make you repeat it until like, that's it, you know it. And so if you study this material and you do it repetitively, you will manifest anything that you want. This is a fact. I live it every day. And so does Carolyn. Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
Part of the whole practice of reaching for thoughts and feeling good is that you want to create a vision for what it is that you want. So, we talk about this on all of the lives that we do, and the material that we teach is you want to decide what you want. And most people never ask themselves that question. Why? Because they say, well, I can never have it. But that's their conditioning, to think that, well, who are you to have that? Or who do you think you are to be that successful? And believe it or not, a lot of people have a fear of being that successful. So there's a whole bunch of limits that we put on ourselves. But the fact of the matter is, there really are no limits at all. So if you understand these principles, you know that if you want to create whatever it is you want to appear, like an Olympian sees himself, herself on that podium, okay, focuses their attention on that every single day as their goal. They envision it, they sleep it, they breathe it, they eat it. All they do is focus their attention on it. Then they have to take the appropriate action towards it, right? So they practice getting really, really good at doing what they're imagining themselves to be. They wouldn't be very good at it if they woke up every day for practice and said, oh God, I hate practicing. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like going to practice. It's so boring. They'd never get to the podium. Everything relies on how they feel. Their attitude, which I always say is altitude, if you can think of it that way, everything about your attitude raises your vibration. So if you ever feel yourself kind of off kilter a little bit, just say, what am I thinking about? And I'm not feeling so great. How can I feel a little bit better? Because if you're going to focus on a vision, on what it is that you want, and picturing yourself in the life that you want to be, and then acting as if it's already here, all of these factors have to match. Now, the thing is, a lot of this material that's gone back to the Bible, okay, it's there too. This material is, it's been around forever, and there's millions of people that study it. I don't know that everybody who reads it necessarily applies it. Studying it, though, allows you to keep reading it until you really understand it. And even then, if you read the book 3 months later, right? You're going to get a different message from the book because you will have changed. Okay. One of the books that, or one of the authors that I adore, Pazit does too, is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a neuroscientist. I adore him because he just simplifies it, like Bob Proctor. Bob has his own style of simplicity. So does Dr. Joe. And he writes about the science behind all of this. He's a neuroscientist. So I just want to read you a paragraph that I heard him speak, and it was so on point. He said, "Can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet? But you've thought about it in your mind, that your brain has literally changed to look like the experience has already occurred. The latest research in neuroscience and neuroplasticity tells us that we can change our brain to look like the event has already occurred, and we begin to emotionally embrace future reality that has the potential in the quantum field, and you begin to emotionally embrace it to such a degree that we fall in love with a future reality. Our body, as our unconscious mind, begins to believe it's living in that future reality in the present moment. We are signaling new genes in new ways to actually change our body to look like the experience has already occurred in preparation for the future event. When you truly do this properly, you never wait for healing to feel whole." So, I mean, this is all, the neuroscience behind it is all there. You know, you can listen to Bruce Lipton, it depends who you listen to, where you get your information from. The books that we've chosen for the book study club are ones that we know really well. Bruce Lipton is phenomenal. Joe Dispenza is also phenomenal. But we've chosen books that we know, we've studied, we've really pulled a good deal of information from them. And a few of them I have in PDF format that I'll be able to send them out to people who participate. And the whole goal is to get together as a group, take turns reading the material. I do it every single morning. A couple of you on this call do it as well at 6 a.m. every day. And we're studying another book at the time, which I don't have on the list, but there's one of them that we've done, and the rest of them are really books that mean a lot to me and to Pazit. So the whole idea is to really get in the spirit of this study, and then there's aha moments that come to you, and as your mind opens to some of these principles, it's so powerful. It changes the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, and it changes your results because everything around you starts to shift. So I was amazed at the conversation from the recording that Pazit played for me, because almost word for word, we had discussed it a year ago in almost the minute detail. And had we taken, we didn't take action till a year later, but it was all there. It was already created. So we want to bring this. We want to bring this to the people that really want to be on board and to really open up their mind on a Sunday morning following our 7 a.m. This one is an 8 a.m. Mindset Mastery Book Study Club.
Right. And I was just going to add, not only do we study it, but I also, like Carolyn and I, we practice it, and I live my life from it, and I teach other people to live their life from it. All my clients that we did through vision portraits, they've all achieved their goals, because what we would do through the portraits is we would make them a match with their future self, with who they wanted to become. If they wanted to become a New York Times bestseller, we would already photograph them as a New York Times bestseller. If they wanted to become like an actress on a full screen movie, we photographed the girl as the actress that she wanted to be in the movie that she wanted, even though she was a mom, she didn't have any acting, classes or anything like that. She was able to get that part. So I just want to show you how powerful this is. to create your life ahead. This is why it's so important, like Carolyn says, to know what you want. The most important thing to do is to know what you want. You know, what kind of experience do you want? Where do you want to, you know, where do you want to live? What kind of person you want to become? What's your lifestyle like, right? All these things. And then to become a match to it, because that's what I noticed through my vision work, is that we would create people's future through the unseen, but they were able to see it, right? It's like able to see yourself in a few years. What would I look like if I did go for that success, if I was on the cover of the book, if I was an on-screen actress, you know? And it's that shift of perspective, okay, that it gives your mind something new to work to. And what was really fascinating with my work is that within a period of 2 weeks to a year, every single person achieved their goal. Every single person. So we were working with the invisible laws. And so obviously it doesn't just work for me and for Caroline. It works for many other clients that I had, and it can work for you too. You just have to know how to do it. And these books reveal a lot of the invisible laws that we both work with together. And so A, it accelerates your success, which is really fun. 2, it accelerates your knowledge. 3, it gives you a team, because when you're going between, between two worlds, the one that you were taught and this new one that you know it feels more like true to you. You even feel like sometimes I always knew it, you know, because there's a knowing, but because there's so much confusion on your vision is so fogged, you don't know what's real and what's not real anymore. So coming to this study, you will see that not only is it, of course, science and psychology knew about this years ago, and now it's coming into more, into a bigger awareness where your thoughts do become things, you know, and in order for them to become that, you got to work from the invisible laws. And the invisible laws means like creating Carolyn and I creating this back in Naples. And then Carolyn had this idea, and I'm like, yeah, we spoke about this like a year ago. It was premature. Sometimes our ideas are premature as well. So they take time to develop, and that's okay. But you see, it came back. This was already created a year ago, you know? So that's how you have to work. You have to work knowing where you want to go. A little bit like I think I said last week, for anybody who was listening to our Mastermind 7 at 7 a.m., is that you have to know where you're going. Our mind works like a GPS. Give it a photo. The photo is like the address that it's going to. So give it a photo in the future of where you want to go. You know, you want to be an Oscar. You want to get an Oscar. Well, you got to see yourself what you look like with that Oscar. You got to feel what it feels like, and believe it or not,
to feel it. You know, that's the power. If you're writing, we write life scripts, okay? Same thing as affirmations. These are all tools that we have for the repetition. You think about it and say, yeah, okay, well, I don't feel like writing affirmations every day. Well, it really all depends on how much you want what you say you want. Because if your life depended on something, you would do whatever it took to get there. So let's say you want to create a really successful company with a partner, and you want to grow it. The first thing you're going to do is imagine what it feels like when that success is already here. Okay, it's already here. So what do? In my life script, every single AM, PM, I write, it's about this long. It's not that long. I write it out every day, and it says, I am so happy and grateful now that I am. And I write about what my life feels like right now. It's not actually what my life is right now. It's what it feels like in the image of where I'm going, as if it's already here. So I'm tricking and training my subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and real. It just knows what you impress upon it. So you want to impress upon it as often as you can, getting into the feeling of what it's like for your company to have reached the pinnacle of success that you already know and believe it has, as if it's already here. So what does that mean for you in your business? Maybe it means that, you know, your business has achieved a certain number, a certain revenue goal. Maybe it means that it's achieved a certain notoriety. Maybe it means that you've assembled a certain amount of clients and you've created X number of raving fans in your business. What does that feel like to serve all those people? Not sometime down the road in the future, right now, right this red hot minute, as Esther says, right now. And then every morning and every night, especially every night before you go to bed, because your subconscious mind does all of those wonderful things while you're sleeping, you want to end your day in this exquisite feeling of gratitude and appreciation, and you want to impress upon your mind exactly what you are living right now, and then go off to bed with that. So in some of our lives, it means some changes. It means that, you know, maybe you're putting kids to bed. I remember those days really well, and they weren't quiet. They weren't calm. But if I had young kids now, I would have to make some changes. I would have to shift some things around and say, okay, we'll take care of kids, but, you know, 20 minutes before bed is my sacred time. Because when you wake up, your mind is fresh, and you want to impress upon your mind whatever it is that you want, and what are your goals for today, and what's moving you toward where you want to go. And then at the end of the day, both times feeling like you're already here. I guarantee you, you will get what you tell yourself you already have.
Yeah. It's a fact.
I guarantee you. Yeah. You practice it though. You can't do it and say, well, you know, I'm going to do it every once in a while when I feel like it. If you really want what you say you want, then you have to do the things that most people aren't prepared to do. And that means writing out affirmations every day. Writing out a life script every day. Don't miss a day. You want that goal? Don't miss a day. It's discipline, giving yourself a command and following it. Doing what you really, really want. I guarantee you'll get exactly what you picture in your mind. How do I know? Too many examples to explain. And Pazit and I do experiments all the time. And the most fun that we have is sharing the back and forth, where I'll get an SOS message and she'll say, you are not going to believe what just happened today. And I know it's because she's been focusing her attention in a certain direction, right? So all of that is for everybody, anytime, because it's law. It must happen for everybody. But yes, you must do things in a certain way.
Yeah, the work is to practice every day. That's, you know, we've confused work with physical work, but the work is really doing the focus, feeling the feelings, you know, always feeling good. If you don't feel good, catch yourself, you know, monitor how you're feeling. That's really the work that you have to do. That's the real work. And when you realize that you're a creator, things are being served to you. The action is not like you physically, it's an action, just you have to take it. You have to grab it. You know, somebody invites you somewhere, you go. That's the action. You go, you know. You might have to pick up the phone or something like that, you know. But that's the action. It's not, you know, it's not work in the way that we've learned to work. So, and when it comes to you, it'll come to you in a way that you never expected it. It's really fun. You're like, I can't, you'll be living in like, I can't believe it moments almost like every day. Like, I can't believe what just happened, you know? So, Carolyn, why don't we give them a little, you know, a little idea of like what the book is like and what it's going to be like. And this is what you all have to look forward to. If you just follow this process, it's just really fun. It's like a mental gym, you know, don't miss a day.
Your invisible power. Okay. And because it's a small one, it's kind of fun to start with that one. And you got to remember at the time that it was written, it's written in the language of the time. Okay. But the idea when you study these books in a group is that you take turns actually reading aloud. So it's not one person reads, everyone listens. We all participate. I did this with another mastermind group a few years back, and we did The Science of Getting Rich. I've done that book a number of times. It's also on the list to do. It's a magnificent book written by Wallace D. Wattles. This book was written way before that. Think of this woman who wanted to be the only student, and Thomas Troward never took students ever. But she made a decision she wanted to be his student. And he gave her, he told her, you have to come up with, this is way back in the 1920s, you have to come up with, I think it was $100 or 100 pounds in Britain. And she made her way to him. This is in the other book that's written also by her. She tells that whole story. It's not in here. We won't read it now. But this is the foreword and the first little chapter of Your Invisible Power. These pages have been written with the purpose and hope that their suggestions may furnish you a key to open up the way to the attainment of your desires, and to explain that fear should be entirely banished from your effort to obtain possession of the things you desire. This presupposes, of course, that your desire for possession is based upon your aspiration for greater liberty. For example, you feel that the possession of more money, land, or friends will make you happier, and your desire for possession of these things arise from a conviction that their possession will bring you liberty and happiness. In other words, nothing can be for anyone's, everything has to be for the greater good. Okay, that's the bottom. In your effort to possess, you will discover that the thing you most and ultimately need is to be always, not spasmodically, your best self. That self which understands that the mistakes of those you love are simply misunderstandings. Your feeling that greater possessions, no matter of what kind they may be, will of themselves bring you contentment or happiness is a misunderstanding. Okay, the outside world is not going to make you feel better about yourself. No person, place, or thing can give you happiness. They may give you cause for happiness and a feeling of contentment, but the joy of living comes from within. Therefore, it is here recommended, rather than otherwise, that you should make the effort to obtain the things which you feel will bring you joy, provided, as previously stated, that your desires are in accord, in alignment with the joy of living. It is also desired in this volume to suggest the possibilities in store for all who make persistent effort to understand the law of visualization, and to make practical application of this knowledge on whatever plane he or she may be. The word effort, as here employed, is not intended to convey the idea of strain. All study and meditation should be without strain or tension. In other words, always be in a state of calmness of mind. It has been my endeavor to show that by starting at the beginning of the creative action or the mental picture, certain corresponding results are sure to follow. While the laws of the universe cannot be altered, they can be made to work under specific conditions, thereby producing results for individual advancement which cannot be obtained under the spontaneous working of the law provided by nature, the invisible laws. However, far the suggestion I have given you of the possibilities in store for you through visualizing may carry you beyond your past experience. They nowhere break the continuity of the law of cause and effect. If through the suggestions here given, anyone is brought to realize that their mind is a center through and in which all power there is in operation, simply waiting to be given direction in the one and only way through which it can take specific action, and this means reaction in concrete or physical form, then the mission to which this book is dedicated has been fulfilled. Try to remember that the picture you think, feel, and see is reflected into the universal mind, and by the natural law of reciprocal action, that's the law of cause and effect, must return to you in either spiritual or physical form. Knowledge of this law of reciprocal action between the individual and the universal mind opens you to free access to all you may wish to possess or be. Thus continued, whatever you think and feel yourself to be, the creative spirit of life is bound to faithfully reproduce in corresponding reaction. This is the great reason for picturing yourself and your affairs as you wish them to be, as existing facts, though invisible to the physical eye, and live in your picture. An honest endeavor to do this always recognizes that your own mind is a projection of the originating spirit, will prove to you that the best there is yours in all ways. If you train yourself in practice of deliberately picturing your desire and carefully examining it, you will soon find your thought and desires come and proceed in more orderly procession than ever before. In other words, when your understanding grasps the power to visualize your heart's desire and hold it with your will, it attracts you to all things requisite to the fulfillment of that picture by the harmonious vibrations of the law of attraction. So I will leave it there. And there's tons of golden nuggets in this little book written so long ago. But I think it kind of demonstrates as well, we're all talking the same language. And the ability for us to bring into our awareness, then into our physical circumstance, starts here. Starts
right.
in, yeah.
And we think in pictures. So your job is to hold the image of what you want. It's easier said than done. Is to hold the image of what you want and feel your way until that picture and you becomes a reality. You're living that life that you picture yourself to be in.
And then repeat it every day. Revisualize it every day. Revisit it every day. And then before you know it, the phone will ring. You'll see something. You'll hear something. Something will happen that are the corresponding circumstances that it's like the universe conspires to bring it to you.
Synchronicities will happen.
Yeah.
You will not believe how many synchronicities. It just works. You happen to be at the right place at the right time. It just because you're holding that image, you're holding it so strong, you're fusing with it. You're fusing with it.
It's a beautiful flow of life. Yeah. It's a really nice, it's such a good feeling when all feels well. Yeah. It just feels like life is moving along nicely. Does that mean that things don't go not as planned? There's going to be things that show up. But
on the outside. On your world, on what you see.
Exactly. And you respond to those things, but you don't focus all your attention on what you perceive to be something that is something bad that has shown up. You look at it, you acknowledge it, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to take care of this. But you never stop focusing on what you want, because the moment you start focusing on the things that are showing up that you don't want, guess what you're going to get? More of what you don't want.
Exactly. So Carolyn,
focus on expands.
That's right. So Carolyn, maybe we can open the floor and see if anybody has questions about what you read.
Questions or any experiences you want to share about your own synchronicities, because they're always fun.
Right. Or about what she just read.
Anybody have anything to share? Questions, observations?
I do.
Sure, Wanda.
I always have something to say.
Good.
Girl, ladies, I love you guys so much. I can just hug and squeeze you. I'm so grateful for all of this. Okay, so I'm going to share something. I don't want to say too much because I'm in the middle of this, exactly what she was reading. So about 2 weeks ago, I was visualizing me with Ellen DeGeneres, and I said out loud to a few of my friends, I would love to meet her. I see and vision myself always going on her show. And I literally feel the vibrations, and I'm walking out onto her stage, and she's standing beside her white couch, and I'm running right into her arms, and we're hugging, and I'm waving. Oh gosh, at least 2 years to meet Ellen DeGeneres. So I was gotten myself really, really serious, and I said, you know what, let me just have fun with this. So, and this is what life is all about, is to have fun, because there's so much chaos that's going on in life. I like to dream, and I want to vision myself away from the chaos and just have fun. So about 2 weeks ago, I tell my girlfriend, it was around the end of January, I said, I'm going to give her a call and say, can you imagine on the 8th of March, I happen to have a breast cancer foundation that I'm going to, and there's like only women. I said to her, I go, can you imagine if I reach out to Ellen and she comes to that foundation? And she goes, Wanda, I would have to wear a diaper because I'd shit my pants if she showed up. So I'm like, okay, well, you never know. So what does Wanda do? Well, Wanda happened to have her radio broken off her Volkswagen. So I go to the Volkswagen, sit in the waiting room, and I'm bored. And I send off an email to Ellen. And I said, "Hi, Ellen. My name is Wanda Peele. I am writing a book, and I want to meet you, and I want to go on your show. I believe that one phone call or one person can catapult you to the next level. And I believe it will be you. I wait patiently for your call." And I give her my cell number. I send it off. So I go to a hockey game 3 days later, tell my girlfriend, I see me with Ellen. I'm visualizing her. I feel it. I know it. I believe it. And I'm literally telling this to my friend. The next day, it was about, what day are we? We're Wednesday. So Monday, this week on Monday, I'm in my living room. Again, there's a lot of chaos going around in my life. I'm like, nope, I'm putting on my song. I love Diana Ross. I'm coming out, visualizing, dancing with Ellen on the Ellen Show. What happens? She texts me. She goes, Wanda, Ellen is coming to Montreal. I said, shut up. I said, shut up. She goes, no. And then I get the thing. Now, let me tell you guys something. On January 3rd, the Friday, I believe it was Friday, February 1st, I did not want to leave my bed. I wanted to stay in there. My girlfriend comes to my door. She goes, Wanda, get up, get dressed. You got to come to this little, it's not a bar or club. But maybe about 10, 15 years ago, there was a young punk, young stars, 11:30. Did you hear about these two twin ladies? Anyway, now they're ladies, but back then they sang ole, 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 ole. Anyway, so they were on stage singing. She forced me to go out to that little pub out here in DDO in Montreal, and I happened to get on stage and do the funky dance. Fast forward to back to the email or the phone call that I got from my girlfriend that Ellen is coming. I go on to CTV News, and they're saying there's a contest for the craziest dance. So I am like, it's all being orchestrated.
Right.
So everything. Do you guys follow me when I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm all over my story. My point is 2 weeks ago, I visioned myself with Ellen. No word of Ellen DeGeneres even coming to Montreal, but I visioned myself with her. I also saw myself with her dancing, and then I go up on stage on a little club that I didn't want to leave my house, and I'm doing a funky dance where now there's a contest for the first 5 people who can win this Friday. Can you imagine it's me?
Well, yeah, that's the way it works. That's the way it works.
But do you feel it?
Already?
Are you guys feeling it? Like, I'm feeling it. I'm telling my whole family I'm winning. And I keep hearing my name, Wanda Peele. Wanda Peele. And my whole family says, are you nuts? Did you lose your mind, Mom? Like, they think I've lost my mind.
Right.
But I don't listen to the outside world. I'm really tuned in, and I'm visualizing me dancing with Ellen. And then it's just so, I can't even explain it. And you know what? Can I tell you guys something? This call, this recording, we're going to play this back, just exactly what you did with Carolyn about a year ago about this.
We do that all the time.
What?
We do that kind of thing all the time. It happens.
But this is okay, but this is my first time.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yeah, you're going to have a memory of what you created because you did it in advance. But Wanda, it's exactly like that. You see, you become like childlike. You become like,
yes,
I can't believe it. You know,
yes.
when we talk, we're so giddy. We're so giddy.
Yes.
You know?
Like I just
it's magic.
know it. Yes, it's magic. I just
magic.
know it.
Magic.
Now Friday, this Friday.
So living the feeling of that magic, and you know that emotional scale that I was talking about?
Like way up here?
Yes.
Keep yourself way up there, because if you want to attract at any level, anything good to you, you've got to be a match.
Yeah, but how is this possible? Guys, 2 weeks ago, nobody ever heard of Ellen
Yeah.
DeGeneres coming. And all of a sudden, I've been saying it, and I've been telling everyone, I'm meeting her, and she's bloody coming to Montreal. I get onto a stage in DDO that I didn't even want to leave my bed. And all of a sudden, that dance is on CTV News, and I'm waiting to get the phone call to see I'm the winner.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we said. You know, once you start doing this, you can actually start connecting the dots moving forward. Steve Jobs said you can connect the dots moving backwards. But I say you can connect the dots moving forward.
Amen.
Because you know that you're creating each and one of these events. You know.
Amen.
For you.
Exactly.
You use the laws for you.
Yeah.
You guys get it. God, you guys.
Well, we live it. I mean, this is a lifestyle.
I've been waiting for this for 25 years. Do you not guys realize I was been alone my whole entire life. I've lived what you guys are experiencing. I'm experiencing it now because I'm just starting to rebirth. But I buried this for like 25 years. And
I know, but imagine the next 25, Wanda.
Holy
imagine
shit.
the next 25. How much
I'm
fun
going to own an island, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. No, thank you so much. We love these stories. This is what we live for. This is what
stay tuned. Stay tuned for this Friday.
We're gonna watch out.
Stay tuned. And if it does, and you know what? Can I tell you guys something? If I don't win,
don't say it. No.
Listen.
Don't
Wait.
Don't go there.
Just listen.
No, I'm not listening.
No,
you have to.
I'm muting you.
If you don't win, we have the bell. No.
No, wait.
No,
You gotta hear this out. You gotta
don't ruin the moment for you.
You'll buy first row seats. That's all. You're getting it.
Well,
don't ruin the moment. Don't ruin it. Don't do it.
Because
that's the mind coming in. That's your mind. Oh, your mind wants to
how that works.
Don't do it. We're not gonna let you. Does anybody else want to share any vision that they had, or something similar, a coincidence or serendipity, or being at the right place at the right time? Someone who can connect the dots.
I know that the people that are studying at the 6 a.m. club are finding things are starting to move quickly. Right, Lee? I don't know if she can hear me.
Yeah.
My connection is not very good.
Oh, that's true. I think you were saying earlier today that things for you are like all of a sudden there's like these things are starting to show up, right?
Yeah, one Friday morning about 2 weeks ago, I decided, okay, that's it. I'm moving to Montreal. I'm working on building a cluster, industrial cluster in the cannabis and hemp industry. I was hired for that, and it doesn't go fast enough. So I said, no, I'm going to Montreal. The researchers are there. That's it, and my family's there. So, and since then, I asked a specialist in Montreal that I know who works with clusters and built clusters. And today, we scheduled a phone call today, and she says, I'm going to help you. And I've met her twice, and she says, if this is going on, we'll make a startup out of this, and you can take care of that.
And you asked for help, right? You said, I need someone to help me.
Yeah.
It took what, 2 weeks before they showed up? That's it.
Not even that. I wrote to her last week.
Yeah.
Wrote to her last week, and we scheduled a call today. And actually, the other thing is, I wanted to write a book for years. I wrote the thesis. I did everything, and I couldn't find a subject. But this is the subject. This is what I want to do. And the cluster is it's haunting me.
Exactly. I love it.
I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I say, oh, I don't feel tired. Okay, what do I do? And
it's not because of the cluster she wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know, but because of all that's going on and the idea coming in, and I wanted to write, but I needed someone to help. And I asked, and Carolyn said, well, that's what I do. And we had one session today, and all the knickknacks, I call knickknacks, okay? All the ISBN and all the other.
The cochonnerie.
I don't like to take care of that. This is not. I want to take care of really the writing, and that's exactly what I got. So I say, wow, okay. And also I have a friend of mine who's in the group, and she says, I'll put you in the group. Yeah, but I said, I have no money. She says, don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to double the money without even doing anything. It's like, yes, because I know I'm going to need that money for,
The opportunities are finding you to create what it is with the dots moving forward. And that's the thing, if you're just moving unconsciously through your day, and it's like Groundhog Day, same thing, day after day, same responses, same thoughts, same actions, same this. But when you become awake and you're aware of what your day is actually delivering to you, because it is completely in alignment with what you've been thinking, asking, and wanting, oh my gosh, like you get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and you actually really do love your day, because there's everything to love about your day. It's an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's all sorts of things that are going to show up in your day and you go, oh my gosh, like and the thing that sometimes we have trouble with is saying, I can't believe this just happened. And it's this awe that we have, but really it's not about we can't believe it. It's like you have to believe it to see it in the first place. The expression, I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it?
No.
You've got to see it in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You've got to see it.
But today, this is where I find is different, because today, before they used to say, right, I have to see it to believe it, right? But today you can see it because you can picture yourself, right? You can picture yourself today, and you can have a tangible photo of what you would look like, as a successful person, as the writer. You can see it now to believe it. So just get used to picturing anything you want. It's very easy. You know what you want. You know what you want to achieve. Picture yourself as that woman. If you have an empire, then picture yourself as that woman who has an empire. If you're a book writer, picture yourself as that bestseller. If that's what you want, that's what you want. So now you can actually bring it into reality by seeing it first. So you can. The games have changed, and as long as you keep coming to groups like this and expanding your awareness, and the books that we read, they just confirm everything. Why do we read the books? It's just to confirm everything, because there was so much mess that was taught to us over the year, that we're cleaning up the mess that we were left with. So now so we could see clear again. We could see clarity again.
I'm just does anyone else have anything that they want to share? Thank you. Like Pazit, it was so awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
The vision specialist, I just love what you always have to share. So amazing. Anybody? Val? Anything happening with Val's world, Natalie's world? Samantha? Well, Samantha was just here with me yesterday. She's got all sorts of stuff going on. And Kim. So amazing. Anybody? Going once? Going twice?
It's just been a magical day.
Yeah.
It's been a magical day. So here's a couple of the books that I'd like to cover, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this. Want to launch it on the 10th of March, because that's the first anniversary of the day we actually planted the seed for this idea. So Feeling is the Secret is one. No particular order other than the first one that I read, Your Invisible Power. I really want to do that one first. Feeling is the Secret. Really sweet little book. Neville Goddard. Phenomenal if you're not familiar with his work. I love him. This one we've done before. I've done before, and then I did it again. This one's called U Squared. Okay, this is by Price Pritchett, and this is about taking quantum leaps. So people that are in the 6 a.m. club, you know about that one. The Science of Getting Rich is Wallace D. Wattles, and I have a workbook for that I can PDF to anybody who's part of the club, so we can really take a deep dive into that book. A lawful process for the creation of wealth. And when they say the signs of getting rich, we're talking about richness, abundance, prosperity in all that we do.
In all areas.
In all areas of life. Okay, we talk about wealth as wealth in general, wealth and prosperity, mindedness.
Wealth, health, relationship, wealth and love. Wealth it's in every area.
In every area, and the formula for it and the laws that govern it are in this book. And then
because the biggest thing really when we were transitioning is the understanding of this material. If you don't have the understanding, your mind will not comprehend how is it possible that we do this. Like, I've never done this before. Your mind is going to talk you out of it. But the studying, and you will see how so many other people did it. And so that's going to strengthen your muscle of your mind. And you're going to be like, oh, you're going to start seeing how you connect, your thoughts and your reality. And you're going to really be more aware. You're going to be like, when things happen, like Wanda said, Ellen is coming to Montreal. Now, I don't know how often Ellen came to Montreal. I don't know. I've been there for so many years. Ellen's never come to Montreal, at least like 30 years. I could tell you that. It just so happens that Ellen, so somebody will say, well, it's a coincidence. No, it's not a fucking coincidence. It's not, it's a deliberate creation. And so you have to know the difference. When things like that happen, they are magical. She's not every year in Montreal. It's not like a regular occurrence here,
And that's why studying in the books, where you're immersed in the study every day, it's like, when you start growing into the person you're meant to be, and you're kind of growing away from a little bit of who you were for whatever time that served you to be there, and now you're growing into the vision of the next kind of leg of your journey, there's a bit of an identity gap. Right? There's this gap because you're moving forward and you're starting to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to walk in the footsteps of what I pictured for myself, but you still get pulled back into
sometimes the power scares you.
Yeah, old patterns of thought and behavior and things like that. So being in a study, this is once a week, okay? So what you want to do is get into the habit of doing a little bit every day, but coming together at least once a week, you go, oh yeah, I understand, like this makes sense. Like you can really relate it and you feel at home with this material because it's really about where you're going. Another book that I want to do is a book that I love as well, called Working with the Law. And that's a book about the laws, about the invisible laws. That's a book that was written in 1964 by Dr. Raymond Hollywell. Again, we get into the laws, and I'm kind of going to work toward those and start with some of the smaller bite-sized digestible ones first, and then move in as the understanding and the knowledge grows into some of the material that really has the meat. And this one as well, this one is Psycho-Cybernetics. This is by Dr. Maxwell Maltz.
Excellent.
This is just a spectacular book. And this is about the original science of self-improvement and success that has changed the lives of 30 million. This is about how your mind works like a cybernetic machine, really, with set points, just like a thermostat. So he did all his studies and all of that. And this is one that I think Valerie will really love. And this is Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks and the studies of Abraham. And we'll leave that one till a little further along because it's got, there's so much wealth in these books. I would be honored for anybody to come on board when in the next couple of weeks, we're going to send out a register for it link, and we'll let you know all about it. But that's the kind of thing we want to do, get a community of people that really want to move themselves forward through this kind of study and material. So that's that.
So yes, I want to thank everybody for coming and for sharing. And what's really fun about this is that you have a team and you're learning and you can ask questions, and you have like a step-by-step. It's not something that you have to figure out on your own. Caroline and I are very immersed in the subject. It's been many years, and we're happy to pass on the knowledge that we've mastered now. And that's what we want to do.
It's kind of what everybody does. You learn it and then you pass it along.
Right.
That's how we all learn and grow. We invest in mentorship, and then we just share that wealth. So that's the idea. So we hope some of you will come along. And I don't know if anyone has any questions about the book study, any comments on any of the books. Like them, love them, know them.
I can't wait. I love them, and the timing is ridiculous.
Of course it is. Yeah. So good.
Thank you.
Thank
And I
you
love
so much. I love all of you guys. I do.
We love
I'm
you
so
too,
excited
Wanda. We love you
because
all.
I
We
really,
love you all.
whether you guys want to believe this or not, it's not a coincidence. Like you said, she's coming for me. I even gave her my address. I gave her my cell phone. I swear to you. And then boom, she's coming to Montreal. There's no way.
That's
She's
it.
coming for me. And I'll be dancing. I'm going to be dancing, girl. I'm going to be doing my fancy dance.
Do your dance. Do your dance. We're going to be dancing with you.
I
We're
love
going to
you
be
guys.
dancing and celebrating with you.
Oh my God.
I'm
God
looking
bless you
forward to
guys.
winning. I'm looking forward to you winning, Wanda, because I saw the ticket prices for Ellen. Holy crap.
Oh my God. Valerie, I
Because
almost.
I manifested Paul McCartney.
And
I
what happened?
Wow, I wonder if Sir Paul's ever going to come back. And 2 days later, there's the billboard at Sources in the 40s. So of course,
Shut up.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Ellen is like twice the price of Sir Paul. So I don't really know how this works, but
It's okay.
You
She
know
won't
what?
have to worry
Yeah,
about
don't let that be a limitation. You can
Nope.
win it. Do it.
Amen.
Dance
Amen.
your-
I'm doing
dance your
my
way into it.
dance.
Do your
I'm
dance.
doing my
Do your
dance.
dance into it. Exactly. Exactly.
I
love you
manifested
guys.
Diana Ross and I shook her hand.
There you go. Nice.
Woo!
And
Hallelujah.
Michael Jackson. I sat with the press.
Oh, nice.
God bless you.
I think if
All
most of
because
us
I
think
wanted to
back,
meet them.
if you think back in your life, you're going to be able to, like, if you were really to give it some thought,
But
you would know the things that you actually brought into your life by your thoughts. If
But
you were to look
Everything,
back,
actually, good and bad. Good and
and
bad, you
bad,
did it.
yeah.
Good and bad, you guys, we all did it.
Yeah, we did.
my son was born because my husband and I, after 13 miscarriages, wanted him.
Wow.
That's
really
a gift.
beautiful story.
That's a miracle from God.
A miracle.
Yes.
So-
Amen. Hallelujah.
God bless.
Yes.
wow.
Oh, guys,
Now I'll
I
watch him
just
play
love
hockey.
you.
So, guys, go ahead and
Thank you.
create a beautiful week, and we'll
Yes.
see you all on Sunday.
And
And,
stay tuned for CTV News this Friday, 6
We'll be watching, Wanda.
p.m. You're going to hear Wanda
Yeah,
Peele
absolutely. Reach out to us,
with my
Wanda.
fancy dance.
We already know for you. We already know. It's done.
I love you guys.
Done,
God
done,
bless
done.
you. Oh, God. Thank you.
Okay, everybody.
All right,
thanks so much
we'll
for-
see you all
for
on
sharing
Sunday at 7 a.m. for the mastermind.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'll be
7
there.
a.m.
Have a great night. And remember that you are the creators of your life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
good.
God bless. Thank you. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Appreciate
Bye.
you being here.
Me too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Good night.